Hi everybody, today we're going to do a little class in honor of Yutet Kislev. It's going to be on the Tanya. Okay, you found it? Marie, you found it? Okay, so we're going to read the Tanya of the day. We begin with chapter 1 today. Tanya Besof Paragimel Denida Mashbim Oto. We have learned an oath is administered to him. Before a Jew is born, an oath is administered to him in heaven, charging him. Tehi tzadik v'al tehi rasha, v'afilu kol ha'olam kulo omrim lecha tzadik ata, heye benecha kerasha. Be righteous and be not wicked. And even if the whole world tells you that you are righteous, regard yourself as wicked. וצריך להבין דהתנן אבות פרק ב' ואל תהי רשע בפני עצמך. This calls for an explanation, for we have learned in the Mishnah, be not wicked in your own estimation. How then can we say that an oath is administered to the soul, that is, to regard itself as wicked when this directly contradicts the Mishnaic injunction not to regard oneself as wicked? Furthermore, if a person considers himself wicked, he will grieve at heart and depressed. And consequently, he will not be able to serve God joyfully and with a contented heart. While if his heart will not be at all grieved by its self-appraisal, he may be led to irreverence, God forbid. However, the above manner, tzadik v'tovlo, tzadik v'ralo, rasha v'tovlo, rasha v'ralo, benoni. We find in the Gemara 5 distinct types. There's a righteous man who prospers, a righteous man who suffers, a wicked man who prospers, and a wicked man who suffers, and an intermediate man, the Benoni, right? The famous Benoni. Upirshu bigmara tzadik v'tovlo tzadik amor. The Gemara explains the righteous man who prospers is the consummate, literally complete tzaddik. Let me just see when it finishes. Okay. We have a few more pages. Do you mind that I'm reading inside? Then we'll explain. Are you guys reviewing what we...
Moi, ça me rappelle beaucoup, ouais.
Tzadik v'ralo tzadik she'eino gamor. The righteous man who suffers is the imperfect tzaddik, incomplete tzaddik. Uveraya me'emna parsha mishpatim perush tzadik v'ralo she'ara shebo kafuf latov. In Raya me'emna, it is explained that the righteous man who suffers is one whose evil nature is subservient to his good nature. ובגמר סף פרק טס דיברחה, צדיקים יצר טוב שופטם, חולו רשעים יצר הרע שופטם. In the Gemara, it stated that the righteous men are judged by their good nature and the wicked are judged by their evil nature. Benoni ze veze shoftan, and an intermediate man by both. Amar Rabba, כגון אנה בינוני אמר לאביי לא שביק מה חיה לכל בריאה וכולו. Rabba declared, I, for example, I'm a Benoni. Said Abaye to him, Master, you make it impossible for any creature to live. Ve'lavin kol ze be'er hetev, to understand all the aforesaid clearly. V'gam lavin ma she'amar Iyov, Ribono shel olam barasa tzadikim barata reshaim, and also to understand the statement of Job. Lord of the universe, you have created righteous men, you have created wicked men. Vehu tzadik v'rasha lo kama, for he does not decree which person are to be righteous and wicked. V'gam lavin mehos madrega benoni, we must also understand the essential nature of the rank of the benoni. Shebevadai eno machze zechuyas u'machze avana she'im kein ech ta rabba ba'atzmo lomar shehu benoni. He is certainly not one whose deeds are half virtuous and half sinful, for this is where how could Rabbah err in classifying himself as a Benoni? So I don't want to read too much because it's probably confusing you, but it's the whole discussion, right? He starts off that a person, before he comes down to the world, he takes an oath upon himself that he says, I promise I will be a tzaddik and not a rasha. And if the whole world sees me as a tzaddik, I'll
Consider myself as a Russia.
as a Russia. So the Alter Rebbe says, okay, we need to re-explain what Russia, what tzaddik is, because this doesn't make sense. There's so many questions that come up. How is it possible that he sees himself as a Russia? If it's going to make him sad, or it can make him even do sins. And what is a Russia? What is a tzaddik? So he brings 5 levels: a tzaddik v'tovlo, a complete tzaddik; tzaddik v'ralo, an incomplete tzaddik; Rasha v'tovlo, Rasha who has good; and Rasha v'ralo, a Rasha who's completely bad; and then a Benoni. So what is a Benoni? And the reason why we have to understand what a Benoni is, because this book
It's about that.
is how you can become a Benoni. And the Alter Rebbe goes on to say, you think, not you think, he says, the highest level we can become is not a tzaddik. Tzaddik is a gift that God creates, and he spreads them out throughout the generation. But Benoni is something we can all attain. And then he goes, and the other chapters goes and dwells into what is a Benoni. So this is the Tanya of today. I just wanted to put you guys back into the Tanya, and instead of dwelling into this chapter, I was thinking of 3 main things that really stuck out for me from the Tanya, and we're going to talk about them today. Why the Tanya is so important, why the Tanya changed my life and can change your life by learning it, and I hope it changed your life when we learned it. And someone was just saying at one of the Farbringans I went to, they were saying that the Rebbe told someone, that was going through a hard time, learn the Tanya for a week, and
It's gonna be good.
and it's gonna be good. And he did. I don't know if it was a week or a month, I don't remember. But the point is that Tanya brings liberation, brings goodness, clarification. It really does, and there's stories of many people who by learning it, I personally, by teaching it, I had to learn it in a way to apply it. So I really had to bring it down. I really felt it changed my life. And I'll tell you the 3 points that stuck to me and that sticks to me every day. First point, in the chapter, I think it's in chapter, I read it, I actually looked for it to see which chapter it talks about. It's exactly chapter 2. It says, V'nefesh hashenis b'Yisrael hi chelek Elokai mimal mamash. The second uniquely Jewish soul is truly a part of God above. And not only does he say is a part of God, he says is truly. He adds the word mamash. Mamash is to emphasize what the literal translation. He says your second soul you have inside is a part of God, but he adds it's really. For someone who says, people, this term, this explanation that the Alter Rebbe brought really changed the whole view on how people saw themselves. When you think about it and you realize that you're carrying, and if we really thought about it and understood it, we probably wouldn't be the people we are today. We would be much happier people. We would be on different level, but we don't realize, and we have to read it, and it's something I have to retell myself, that we really are a part of God. Inside of us, we carry a part of God. A part of God. What is God? Something that's infinite, that's powerful, that's the ultimate good of goodness, the ultimate of kindness, the ultimate of everything, of abundance, and we carry that inside of us. If we realize that, we would not be the way we are today. If we actually realize, we would be joyous. We would want to do the Torah and mitzvot, because we know that part of God, how is it expressed? How is it expressed? By doing the will of God, which is Torah and mitzvot. That is what that part of God, how it expresses itself, how it connects to its source, right?
Like the candle that lighted down.
Exactly, like the candle, the flame that's always striving to go up.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful story that I heard. There was a girl. There was a rabbi who lived in Australia. His name was Rabbi. Let me just remember his last name. I don't know why
Chabad?
Chabad rabbi, but his name escaped. Gutnick, Rabbi Gutnick.
Oh, okay.
And he was very connected to the Rebbe. And every time the Rebbe would send him on missions, and he would go and do it. And sometimes he didn't know why he would tell him, go to this city, just go there. And he would go and walk around and not know. And then he would meet a Jewish person, and he the real stories. When you go to Australia, I lived in Australia for a month. The whole Australia is very influenced by Chabad. Like all the organizations, most of the organization run there are Chabad organization. The Rebbe had a very big impact on. He sent his emissaries, and he was in touch with them, and in every little town of
Because it's huge country.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the Rabbi, one time there was this girl that came to Rabbi Gutnick, and she was a girl from Baklava. I'm not sure where that is, but it's a city. And she told Rabbi Gutnick, I really want to convert. I want to become Jewish. There's a pulling in me. I really want to convert. So she was very young, and he put her in touch with the rabbis who convert, and they refused her. They said, she's too young to make this big decision. We can't accept her. She can't convert. The girl
How old
became.
was she again?
She was maybe 16. I don't know. She was very young. They don't say her age. I don't remember the age, but from being refused, she got sick, and her parents were very worried for her, and they contacted Rabbi Gutnick. They said she's sick in bed since she got refused, and were very worried for her. So he went to visit her, and he told her, why don't you write to the Rebbe? It was back then when the Rebbe was alive and would get letters. So she wrote a whole letter on why she wants to convert, and how it's important for us, and the rabbis don't want her to, and whole letter. The Rebbe didn't respond, but instead Rabbi Gutnick got a letter, and he wrote him a letter, and he said, what's with the Jewish girl from Baklava who fell sick?
Wow.
So he was so confused, like, Jewish girl, she wants to convert, she's not Jewish.
Wow.
But he said, wait, if the Rebbe said she's a Jewish girl, let's research. And they went to the parents, and they did some research, and they pushed a little bit, and they found out that the grandparents were Jewish, and they hid it because they were, Holocaust survivors, and they didn't want their kids to live as Jews, and they didn't want to ever be affected by any and
trauma.
Exactly. And they were blown away. And Rabbi Gutnick, he didn't give up this story. He didn't just let it pass like that. A few years later, he went to the Rebbe in person to see him, and he said, I need to bring it up. And he said, by the way, how did you know this girl was Jewish? Just from reading her letter. He said, it's only a Jewish person who can write a letter like that. Of wanting
dans l'écriture, il a vu
No, he said it's only a Jewish person who can write that she was sick and yearning and to be Jewish. It's only something that a Jewish person could want. And what do we learn from this story? It's a beautiful story, very powerful story. It shows that chelek Eloka mimal mamash, that part of God that was in her, that was sick, she wanted to connect to the Jewish people, and when she was refused, she got sick from it, because literally that part in us gets sick if it's not connected to our source, if it doesn't get feeding. How you feed your body when you're hungry? How do you feed your soul? You feed your soul with Torah and mitzvot, with connection, with prayers, with coming mitzvot, with coming to the shul on Shabbat. All these things feed your soul, and your soul needs it. So this is the first point that I took out that is just in the beginning of Tanya, and that's very, very powerful, that we have to literally train our brain to realize that we are a part of God. We would treat ourselves and other Jewish people differently if we actually realize that every single Jewish person has a part of God. We would treat ourselves with more respect.
Sure.
We would treat our fellow Jews with more respect because we realize exactly, because everyone has that spark within them that's holy, that's infinite, that's powerful. Yet so
even the Russia,
yet
that's the
even
point
the
of
Russia,
Tanya.
everyone has that godly soul. And you know that godly soul, what's so beautiful about it is that it's very quiet. It's very humble. That's why it's not always heard.
Here.
And that's why sometimes people don't feel it, because it's overpowered by our other soul, our animal
Emotions
soul.
or-
Our animal soul.
Yeah.
It's over. No, each soul has emotions, but
Okay.
it's still there. It's consistently staying there by our side, giving us the energy that we need. But it's quiet, and we have to tap into it. Sometimes we need to calm the noise around to listen to it and to listen to what it says. Donna is not here. I hope she listens to this video. But she sent me a message. She was supposed to come today. Her daughter woke up with fever. She sent me a message yesterday. She saw a post. What did the post say? I can't see it. Okay, it said, "Listen to what the Hanukkah candles have to say." And she's like, "What does that mean?" And I said, "Oh, we'll discuss it tomorrow in class." But literally, the Hanukkah candles is those silent, quiet flames that you watch and retell the story of a very small nation, that was not powerful, that was not the cool nation out there, that was just doing its work, and that when they were taken over by the Greeks, who were super powerful then, who were super cool, who were super in style. Everyone was following what the Greeks were saying. They stood up for what was right for them, for them not being influenced by the Greeks and not having to give in to the Greeks' mythology and all their ideas and ways. And they stood up for themselves, and they won. And that's chelek elokamim ma'al mamash. That's that little spark within each one of us, that when we're taken or trying to be influenced by outer noises or outer influences, it stands up. It can stand up. If you listen to it, it can stand up. And this is the story we have to listen to. The flames, to the story. It says the little small flames. Judaism is not about being big and crazy and loud and cool, and it's about humble, simple flames quietly sharing their story of the courageous Maccabees and the courageous Jews who won over the small, defeating the powerful. So this is, Donna, your answer. I hope you listen to this. This is my first thing that stuck with me. I also wanted to mention something that I forgot. Yutes Kislev is when Chassidus was started to be spread out.
They call it Rosh Hashanah of Chassidut.
Rosh Hashanah la Chassidut, because it's the start of Chassidus, when it was spread out, when it was reachable for everyone to learn it. Right? It was written in a form of Tanya. Before that, Chassidus was only given from great rabbis, and it wasn't written in a book.
Mais ils fêtent pas Rosh Hashanah maintenant à Yutet Kislev.
Yeah, we celebrate Yutet Kislev, not
Ah,
the
Rosh-
Rosh,
not as Rosh Hashanah.
un différent Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah la Chassidut, mais partout au monde, they made big, huge celebrations.
But not like the Rosh Hashanah with
No,
Seder and
no,
everything.
not
Okay,
that.
okay. It's not a
Just-
Yom Tov.
It is a Yom Tov.
It is a Yom Tov.
Yeah, it is a Yom Tov.
Wow. Okay.
That's why there's a nice tablecloth, and it's just to feel, so you can feel
I
the
like it.
special day.
I like it.
So, you once said, Dorit, we don't talk a lot about Mashiach at Chabad,
Right.
but you don't realize that the whole Chabad, the idea of Chabad, is really about Mashiach. It's the start of Mashiach. Him leaving jail was the start of freedom for the Jewish people.
Geula.
The people were in exile, and they were in exile that was adding and adding and adding and more boundaries and more boundaries. And finally, Yutet Kislev came, and that was when the start of breaking out of these boundaries to go to a time where we're going to be free people, really free. That's what we're heading towards. The Baal Shem Tov asked once, when is Mashiach going to come? And the Mashiach answered him, when your well springs of Chassidus is spread out all over the world. When the Alter Rebbe continues the Chassidus of the Baal Shem Tov, right? He's the student.
The Alter Rebbe is before the...
After.
So
After.
Baal Shem Tov
is the first, is the head. But he didn't have, it was more abstract.
And he brought it more concrete.
He brought it very concrete, very practical lessons. So this was the start of the spreading of Chassidut. So by us having Chabad House all over that teaches Chassidus is kind of that vision that Mashiach had, that the Chassidus is spread all over the world, and even in the remote places, everywhere you look. Honestly, we're right before Mashiach comes. And now the work is inside of us. The work, we have to bring Chassidus inside of us. I think that's the only place it hasn't attained. Because a lot of people, you see, say beautiful things of Chassidus, but is it really something that affected you? Is it really something that changed you in your day-to-day life? Do you feel changed by what you learn, or is it just interesting concept? So I wanted to add that. Okay. Number 2, yes.
Alors pour l'Alter Rebbe, le Baal Shem Tov, c'est son Rebbe, right? It is his first, teacher, let's say. Et le Baal Shem Tov, il a créé quoi comme œuvre de...
Lui, il a commencé la Chassidut. Mais il n'a pas vraiment, non.
Anything, so il n'y a pas la Kabbalah, c'est pas lui, il n'y a pas... And
il a enseigné...
everybody knows Baal Shem Tov, like in Morocco or whatever, but I don't know the Alter Rebbe, so I'm curious to know why he...
Because he took a very specific. The Baal Shem Tov was more general, so he included, everyone feels included. The Alter Rebbe was very specific. Like Chabad is very, very specific.
I got it. Mais j'essaye de
comprendre
pourquoi tout le monde le connaît au Maroc, au Baal Shem Tov.
Je crois les gens ils connaissent le Baal Tanya.
Non.
Non? Okay. Interesting. I don't know.
At all.
Because he's pretty,
Même le Tanya, là, c'est pas connu du tout au Maroc. Now a little bit more because we have Chabad in Morocco, but yeah. Interesting, so sorry.
Okay. Next. The second thing that I find very, very powerful is the concept where he brings in that the Benoni, how do you become a Benoni? Is someone who mastered his battle. He will always have evil within. He won't be a tzaddik. He will wake up always with those negative thoughts and those boundaries and that evil feeling, that darkness, that void. He will always have that darkness within him. But something that he will master, who remembers? What will he be able to master?
Speech, thought, and actions, no?
Speech, thought, and action. Beautiful. You're a good student. Machshava, dibur, and maaseh. Something that I hate so much, and every day in my busy life, I'm always like, I hate wasting my time. No, I'm not saying I'm not wasting my time. I hate doing something that won't bring me what I need to, sometimes,
where you need to be.
Or won't give me the result that I want, or will waste my money, or will waste my energy. Like when I go to the gym, I question myself all the time. Am I wasting my time? Am I really?
I don't see any results. I hear you.
So exactly. So it's not only in the gym, in different things in my life that I put my energy in. I want to know that what I'm putting my energy in is bringing me amazing, efficient, amazing results. Over here, the Tanya gives us the secret to it. Don't try to get rid of your nature. You're created a certain way with positive and negative things. Don't try to change that. It's a waste of time. It's not efficient. If someone is, hates, I'm trying to think of, if someone is,
J'essaie de comprendre ton point.
I'll explain you. If someone is by nature very fast-paced, or very nervous, or very loud, or, and they're like, oh, I hate being so loud or fast paced, or I want to come. Don't try to change that. What's the only thing? This is who you are. Accept, validate, accept who you are. Accept your good and your bad that you have within. What could you change? The things you can change is the way you think, what thoughts you want to accept and let take over your mind, is the way you talk, what words you're going to choose about yourself, about others, what words you're going to use, and your actions, what actions you're going to do. Don't try to change yourself. That you have to accept. And that for me was so freeing. Sometimes you waste your time. You want to evolve, you want to grow, you want to change, but don't grow by trying to change yourself. That won't help you.
I don't
Growth
know if
will come through actions that you do daily. For example, when I started off by the gym, it was very hard for me. I'm not someone who was.
I didn't see any results for
but what I did, I started with such small things, and I'm like, does it really help to do this on 30 weights, and I really little baby things that I did, but I did consistently every day.
Yeah.
And suddenly, as the days were going, as the weeks were going, I'm like, wait, I can add this, and I can add that, and I could do more, and I could do more. Your actions, those baby steps actions, are what's going to change you.
I totally agree, but where I disagree, if I can add that,
yes,
you cannot change who you are. This I totally disagree. Why? Because that's the purpose of life, is to not change yourself, but to improve yourself, to grow internally.
So the Alter Rebbe
what
explains what this is where people can waste time to try to change themselves. The Alter Rebbe here.
So how is it that we always talk about you need to work your midot, you need to work your.
But how? How do you work your midot?
Okay, so the how is
that's the how.
Is the beauty of Tanya, but. So it means we can grow and change.
For sure, we can grow and be better. For sure, so that we could.
Okay.
But where is it that you have to put the work?
Yeah,
that's where people confuse themselves. For years, they'll be like, "I'm such a bad person. Sure. I need to stop being so loud, or I need to stop being this." Or don't let go of that. Accept yourself as you are. Change your action. Change your action. Change the way you talk. If you're someone who hates talking bad about people, then start saying good, or either be quiet or start saying good things about people.
I agree.
There was once a woman, I think I said this story already, who was very greedy, who was not nice to other people, and it bothered her. And she went to therapist, and nobody was able to change her. She was still the greedy, mean person who everybody hated. It's a real story.
Greedy, c'est radin, genre.
Radin. Radin, not giving, not nice to people, like. And she was really depressed about it, because she's like, I can't change. This is who I am. Like, I went to therapy. So someone told her to go to the Rebbe, and she went and she spoke to the Rebbe about it, and he said, just every day, start giving something to another person. Do a favor for another person. This is so powerful. So powerful. Your thoughts. Ever heard about manifestation?
Really?
Manifestation was written in the Tanya years ago, before it came out. There's a story of Hasidim who were stuck in Russia, and they weren't able to leave, and they were dreaming of going and connecting and seeing the Rebbe in New York. They were still stuck behind, I think it's when I forgot who, when the iron wall, before the iron wall fell, who was it in control? Stalin, when Stalin was in control. And they were at a Farbrengen and talking about, we want to go to the Rebbe. So one person got, and he put a few chairs together. He said, who wants to go on the train? We're going to see the Rebbe. And so he goes on and he starts driving, and everyone's looking at him like he's weird. But another one joins, and another one, and like 4 or 5 Bachram, I'm not sure the amount, a few boys joined, and they were like pretending like they went to the Rebbe on the train, and they were like so excited, and they really manifested them going to see the Rebbe. And all these 5 Bachram later on were the ones who were able to leave Russia and able to go see. So their freedom was in their head. They were able to change their thoughts from being stuck and not being able to go to, yes, I'm able to go. And in life, this is how we have to live. We should never stay stuck in our thoughts. We have to manifest what we want, manifest and envision and think about it in details of what we would like, and God will bring us to that place, because God wants our good. He really, really wants our good. And I can tell you from my experience, I manifested things and I really, really saw results. It's a true thing, and you have to believe it. You have to say it. Your whole body has. It's not just like, oh, I'm manifesting that I'm gonna go there. No, you have to really, truly believe it and envision it and make it a part of you, and then you're gonna be there. Your thoughts will lead you to where you are. So if you're in a good place, you're gonna go in a good place. If you're not in a good place, that's where you're gonna stay stuck.
Very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, you can add water. And the last one, the last point, and it's a few points, but it's a main point. It's really our whole purpose in this world. The Tanya brings and teaches us what is our purpose in this world. A person without a purpose is lost. If you don't know your purpose, it's like living and without a goal in life. The whole purpose is Yerida zu letzorech aliyah. This descent, the soul descending into this world, is to elevate it, for the soul to have a greater elevation, for the world to become holier and better. The day you were born was the day that the world could not exist without you. And if you're in this world, it's because only you, Cheryl, and only you, Marie, and only you, Dorit, can make a difference that nobody else can make.
Tu peux la redire en hébreu, j'ai
Yerida zu letzorech aliyah. This descent is for an ascent, for it to go back up. So if we live with this attitude in life, that every moment in our life, whether good or bad, is for our good. And this is where Shara Bitachon comes in.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I thought Shara Bitachon would be the perfect continuation to Tanya, because it really helps you face every moment with trust. Trust that God put us in this situation for a reason. Trust that this is only good. Evil exists only from our perception. Evil exists only from our perception. The day that Mashiach's going to come, we'll be able to see that evil was really for our good. Just like an alien who doesn't know anything about how the world functions, walks into operation room, they see doctors cutting open someone, they're like, what are you doing? You know, it seems so bad. But that's because he doesn't know anything about doctors and operations and how he's really saving their life. This is what our life is all about, this world. Anything negative is operations that we can't understand, that we see it as negative. And the descent, normally the descent is usually obvious. We see the bad right away.
Yeah.
But finding the good can take a lifetime. And that is what our mission is to do, to find the good in everything that happens to us in life. To realize that everything that Hashem sends our way is for our good. And again, the whole Tanya is based on Kikarov elecha davar meod beficha ubilvavcha lasoso, which is, it's super close to us in our hearts and in our mind to do it now. In our thoughts, speech, and action, all these things that I'm telling you is something that's attainable to all of you. You can do it. You can make this world a better place. You can find goodness in the bad. You can find light in the darkness. And you can make this world a dwelling place for Hashem, elevate it by doing Torah and mitzvot, by taking your inner spark, your inner soul, chalek Eloka mimal mamash, by elevating it, by using your thought, speech, and action for good things, by finding the good in everything, you can make this world a better place. Now, before I finish, I'm not letting you guys go away with just listening. I want you to write two things. You guys, I hope you all have paper and pen. I want you first to write something that you feel blocked in life, that you feel you're in exile, and you don't have to share this. If you want, you could, but you don't have to share it. But think of of a place in your life that you feel like you're blocked, and that you don't see a way out. You feel blocked. If you don't have that, good for you. But I can tell you, I have those. And the second thing I want you guys to write is one good thing that you will take upon yourself from this class. One good thing that you will do. Alors, a mitzvah, any good action, any mitzvah, any good. It could be a small one. It doesn't have to be long term. It could be short term, but something practical, day to day, that you will take upon yourself because of this class, knowing that it's going to bring more light, more freedom into your own world and into the world around you.
On n'a pas une liste de choses.
You want a list? You want ideas?
Yeah,
it could be.
Because of you, I quit drinking non-kosher wine, so maybe because of you, I'm going to be better.
So I just want to share a story. Why I was inspired to share this is because the same Rabbi Gutnick, he was a big speaker, and he would always talk and say stories.
He's still alive?
I don't think so, but his sons.
C'est une grande famille, j'imagine. C'est connu en Australie.
My brother married, Shalom married the great granddaughter.
So she's Australian?
Her mother's Australian, yeah. So he once came to the rabbi. He said, I give very nice speeches. I'm called many places to talk, but I never feel like what I say has an impact on people. He said, I don't want to continue. So the rabbi said, if you want to feel like it has an impact, every time you speak, ask someone to keep a little action. So he once gave right after that he was speaking on to a crowd, and he told them, I want you guys to take one small action. For example, if you smoke on Shabbat, stop smoking on Shabbat. He said it's going to be good for the doctors and for the rabbi. That week on Shabbat, he sees a man he never sees, or he doesn't usually see on Shabbat, and he says, what are you doing here? He says, well, I was at your speech, and it was Shabbat, and I was smoking, and I decided I'm going to stop smoking, and just, for the rabbi, I'm not going to smoke. And he said, but when I stopped smoking, I'm like, okay, if I'm already not smoking, let me go to the synagogue. So I came to the synagogue, and from that, he would come every Shabbat to the synagogue. So it has to be something very little and specific. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be, let me think of. It can be a small action like giving a coin to the tzedakah box for a week, daily. It can be saying a prayer, saying a tilim once. It could be a prayer is good.
Which one in particular? Or
there's the chapter 20 is good to say for the sick people. I say it every day.
Chapter 20. I'll do it for the next vacances, 2 weeks.
Okay, amazing. Cheryl and Marie, did you guys take upon something?
Yeah, I didn't write it down, but I do have it in my head.
Okay, do you want to share?
No.
Okay, you don't need to share. What about you, Marie?
I think I go for chapter 20 also.
Okay, amazing. So I just want to bless you guys that this should bring you freedom, inner freedom from whatever stops you from doing what you want to do. And that we should really see freedom for the hostages and for all the people who are in real prisons.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.